And we're live.
Hey, everybody. Happy Saturday night to you.
Yeah, stormy outside.
Yes.
Yes, we're getting a little rain. And therefore, I decided to pose the question, what is your favorite rainy day bourbon? You know, you can't do much. You can't get out. You're stuck at home. But I like sitting outside when the storms are rolling through.
Oh, yeah. See the thunder and lightning?
Yeah,
Oh,
sit under like a front porch on the cover or like the carport area, you know, or something like that. And where we don't get soaking wet. Now, if it starts blowing sideways, we got to go inside.
Oh, yeah.
Because that'll put water in your bourbon. You don't want that. And the bourbons that I drink on those rainy days are lower proof because I want to be able to enjoy more over time. You know, you drink 130 proof bourbon and you get 2 snifters down and you're about done, you know. Oh, for me anyway.
That's true. Yeah.
I'm not done, but I'm close enough, you know.
I'd be done.
Yeah.
I'd be done after one.
And that Heaven's Door up there is 126 proof.
That's the one I chose for tonight, but
I
vetoed.
I vetoed it. I was like, no, let's not do that. That's a little too strong.
That's too high proof, man. We're going to get smashed.
Well, but
tonight I'm off call, so
all right.
The sky's the limit.
Awesome. And the 2 bourbons that I chose to bring here to the table with me is Michter's Small Batch US1. I could have easily grabbed, and we can still grab the Eagle Rare, but this is 95 proof.
I say go for Michter's.
Right. And this is really, really good. And I'll say this again. If you can't find the Eagle Rare, this is a good stand-in. It's not exact same notes, but it's they're right like heel to heel, you know, on there. The other one I grabbed is Pinhook, and mostly because it's 95 proof. Well, I think Michter's is 91 point something proof. 91.4. This one's 95. Main reason I grabbed it is because it's almost full. I haven't really drank much out of it, so why not?
So we have to give it a test, yeah.
But I could have easily grabbed. Now, the other thing I look for is bourbon that doesn't break the bank, because when I go hanging out and stuff like that, a lot of times, you know, especially when we used to live in Fort Worth and things like that, people see us out and they start coming over, you know. Mm-hmm. And they'll catch a break in the rain and they'll come over and be like, hey, what are you sipping on? You know, so I don't care if somebody drinks this up. You know, it didn't break the bank to buy it. And
what's the price on that?
It's about $40.
Oh, that's not
bad. Something like that. And Michter's is about $45, you know, somewhere along in there. Now, prices vary geographically, but we are definitely going to do the Pinhook first.
Everybody talks about the Michter's.
Because, well, I but
good stuff.
We're going to do the Pinhook first because I like the Michter's better. So we'll do it in a plain old no logo glass.
Okay.
And we're not going to pour like a heaping helping of it. Just a good little ounce or so. Yeah, it's about an ounce. And if you don't know, sort of like a wine glass, you're supposed to fill it up. You're supposed to put it to the widest part of that bulb, right? And stop.
That's for competition, right?
Well, that's so that you can do this, get air in it, and you don't
spilling out all the sides.
You know, because you like with wine, it's supposed to air out a little bit. It's supposed to, you know, and you can put wine into now. A lot of the places, like if I'm having a fancy dinner or something, you know, I have a decanter up there, and I'll take a bottle of wine and I'll pour it into the decanter, and it's aerating in the decanter, and it's looks like the genie bottle. It's skinny, and then it's got the big bulb at the bottom, and you can shake the crap out of that thing, you know, and then you put that out on the table. Now you don't have to leave room in the glass because, you know, you've already aired the wine out, but really you're supposed to, because you're supposed to get the aromas. And even on wine, you're supposed to be able to get the nose off of a good wine. And when you go to places, they'll charge you for a glass of wine what a bottle of wine costs.
Yeah.
But they fill the glass all the way to the very tip top. you know, in the restaurants, because people be like, oh, you didn't put enough wine in there. You know, that's why when I go to, if I'm going to do it, I do it right. Good steakhouse, something like that, and we know we're going to drink some wine. Give me the bottle and the glasses. We'll pour it, you know, and we'll pour from the bottle, and we'll do it right. You know, but that's.
And I'll take a shot. I'll take a bottle of tequila. Whatever you got, I'm good.
And my thing though is when I go to eat a steak, what I really, really want is a good, like 90 proof, 95 proof bourbon, a decent one that's not overly complex. And then I want, after the steak and all, I want the complex higher proof bourbon, you know, around, 117 and up.
So Michter's to start and chicken cock to finish.
Chicken cock wasn't that high.
Oh, was it? Okay.
No, but I was
the door.
well, for me, I would probably pull down that 1920 Old Forester as the low end. This is the lowest I would go for an after steak, and it's 115 proof. But I'd probably be going for that Duke Grand Cru or that Bellmead Cast Strength or a Booker's or something like that. Now, you can get the little soft nose off this. But this is just sitting around watching the tide roll in, you know, watching the storms roll through. It's good and sweet, not too sweet.
Coats the tongue.
Coats the tongue pretty well. It doesn't have the best legs ever. It doesn't have the best oils in it ever.
Bad.
But not bad. Not bad at all. And for now, Michter's is a little darker in color. So I could give the batch number, but this is 20B123. So if that means anything to anybody, more power to you. There's that. And then Bourbon Bounty logo glass. The Michter's. Now, look at the color difference in those.
Big difference. Huge difference.
And also tilt them and look at the edge. Michter's has a really sharp edge compared to the Pinhook, that glassy edge on it.
Mm-hmm.
The Pinhook's not bad. Michter's is better, right? It's a little bit glassier. You're going to see more oils in the Michter's. You'll see fatter trails coming down, streaks on the glass. And it's going to coat the tongue a heck of a lot better than Pinhook did.
Now remember, this is rainy day drinking here.
But that's got that plum nose to it, that molasses plum.
Just chocolate?
A little bit, yeah. You get a little cocoa hint in there. And then the palate doesn't disappoint.
Some kind of fruity stuff too.
Mm-hmm. Now, what you're going to get from the Michter's, you're going to get more fresh fruit notes out of the Pinhook. You're going to get more like molasses coated roasted fruit notes out of the Michter's, right? Now, Michter's, the regular US one, it doesn't dip into tobaccos or leather. Maybe hints if you really try to find it, but you also don't get a lot of oak off of it either. I mean, and it was aged well, a cooler environment. I don't know what the char was on the barrel, but it does have a distinctly darker color than the Pinhook. And you can really taste the difference with the fresh fruit versus the baked fruit in that.
Yeah, here you can have this one.
Nah, that's right. But it's good to go back and forth on them. Just so you can see that big difference and between them. But these are just two different I won't say two different mash bills. I don't have the mash bill memorized on these. But the mash bill has less to do with the color than the char and the aging in the barrel. I know I tried that rye. I did the review on Old Humble, that double oak straight rye whiskey. and it is oaky, like up front, in your face, punch to the throat, oaky. But it's nice. I've had some really oaky stuff that was bitter that didn't come across well. That's a well-balanced one. But if you like oak in your drink, and you still get the vanilla and caramel, and people tend to associate vanilla and caramel with bourbon, and it's not. It's wood sugars is what you get those notes from. There is nothing in barley, rye, wheat, or corn that's going to give you vanilla and caramel notes. It's all about the wood on those.
Hey, Mr. Great Shot.
Oh, Fulton and Mr.
Fulton,
Great
hey,
Shot.
how you doing?
How's it going?
Happy Saturday night, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite rainy day bourbon?
I know Mr. Great Shot has a great place to sit and watch storms roll through.
Oh, I can imagine.
He's got that pool area and all that's covered where he's sitting. I'd love to be there at his house when good old thunderstorms rolling by. Sit out there around that table. It's hot here. I'm sipping a gin and tonic. Yep. Took my new dog Luna out for a walk. First time. Not feeling well. Well, hope you get to feeling better there, Fulton.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm telling you, I don't dislike either of these. Personally, I like the Michter's a little better because I like those darker notes. But this is a great sipping bourbon.
Yeah.
You know, it's just more of a younger, but it doesn't have that stale youngness to it. It's a crisp, fresh youngness to the bourbon. And there's some where they overcut it with water and it gets that I call it lint flavor to it. I don't know what else to compare it to. It reminds me, the flavor I get and the nose I get off of it is like a musty dryer vent. Like when you first open the dryer, when your clothes are still warm and you pull that lint screen out and you get the lint and throw it away. That's notes I get off of overcut bourbons that are really young. Like and now both of these are Kentucky straight bourbon whiskeys, right? So that means they're aged at least 2 years, if not 4. So these are not ones that would give you those little musty notes like a really, really young bourbon. Because in order to be called a bourbon, it has to be aged, not specified, in a unused charred oak barrel. But they could literally pour the White Dog into the barrel and no set amount of time later, pour it right back out and bottle it. And that now they can't add color any other way. So if you pour it straight in and pour it straight back out, it's probably going to look a lot like White Dog mash, you know. So they'll probably leave it in there for a month or so at least. But it's common to see 2 to 3 month aged bourbons. Now you can't call it a straight bourbon, but these are both straight bourbons. Now, for me, I tend to gravitate way toward the straight bourbons. I found some good blends, and if it says it's a blended straight bourbon whiskey, what that means is 51% or more of the whiskey in the barrel is a straight bourbon, aged 2 years. So they could age it for 2 years, and like the next day, you know, pour it out into a different barrel and then add like a 2-month-old and a 6-month-old with it, as long as it was more than 51% of what went in the barrel. They can call it a blended straight bourbon whiskey. What I see more is a blend of straight bourbon whiskeys. So the nomenclature on the bottles is important. When you're looking for stuff, and you can discern a few things just by knowing the age, by knowing the mash bill, by the number char they use on the barrel. But the last thing is, where was it aged? So if it was aged in Kentucky, it's not as harsh of a climate in Kentucky as it is in, say, Texas. Texas gets freaking hot, you know. Now, that doesn't tell you everything you need to know, because they could have a climate controlled warehouse where they're aging stuff. And there could be, I mean, it would cost a hell of a lot of money to do, because these rick houses are wide open. You've got to be able to drive forklifts around them. And it's very expensive to cool and heat a huge warehouse like
that. Yeah, definitely.
Especially cooling. Now, a lot of them may use like water cool, where the condenser things, where it just blows air across those little coils, with water running through it, and then they chill the water a little bit, I've seen a water chiller one time, a cooler, where there was an underground spring, and that spring ran through at like 50 something degrees all the time.
Oh, wow.
So they had a pump that would pump up through the coils, and it zigzagged through, and then went right back down and dumped back into the underground stream. So they were constantly pulling 52 degree or 54 degree or whatever water up through these coils, and they would just blow water across it. Now, at that point, you're not using Freon, you're not, doing all this stuff. So, hey, what's up, RB? Got my mint julep and getting ready for the race. Yeah. Watching the Kentucky Derby. And I knew we would have some competition on that. I don't know. That's a lot of hype for a few minutes.
It really is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
And one time I was like, oh, the Kentucky Derby's on. Well, it ended an hour ago. They were showing the little replay of it, and I thought I watched it live, and I was just as happy, But I don't bet on it. If I'm hedging bets on it or something like that, and I have money on the line, yeah, I would get interested in it, Like watching the lottery numbers come up, not my numbers.
Yeah. I bet once on it, and cute little story. I was in Bally's in Vegas, and I was going to the bathroom, and I was in one of the stalls, and two guys walked in to the bathroom and said, "The fix is on. Tabasco Cat in the third." And I didn't know whether to believe them or not. But so I put $1,000 on Tabasco Cat, won $5,000 back.
Yep. I took my wife in Texas to the horse races there. And she didn't know anything about it. She hadn't been. And so I said, just take a 20, put it in the machine, and put a $2 bet down, and it'll give you your bet ticket, and it'll give you the money you have left, and you'll have $18 left. And then for the next race, you can go up and put that ticket in, and then bet $2 more, 2 per race. So she goes up, and she's looking at the names of the horses, and there was a horse that was like, I don't know, 56-1 long shot called Magic Mick. I will never forget that name. And she goes up there, she sticks the 20 in and puts the whole thing on Magic Mick to win. And the odds decreased as
the
to
20
post
went
time.
in, yeah.
So $400 in her pocket later.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Cool.
off a $20 bet. She won like $395.
That's awesome.
Something like that. Oh yeah, a lot for a few minutes. That's what they always say. That's a lot of build up for 3 minutes.
Yeah. That's why you record it and fast forward over the hype.
We were talking about something a little bit different.
Oh.
Minuteman.
Oh yeah. Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Got plenty of time.
Yeah, I've done well at the horse races, and I do box bets and things like that, and I usually come out ahead. But I don't win them. I don't risk a ton of money, and I don't win a ton of money. I'm just not a big gambler. I'd rather save my money and go, because if I go to the store and I buy 5 bottles of bourbon, I absolutely have 5 bottles of bourbon. And I've spent $250 or whatever, or 300 or whatever. I might have got a more expensive one, you know. But when I go and spend $250 at the horse race, I might come out of there with $320 or something, you know. I don't know, you know.
Then go buy the 5 bottles of bourbon.
Well, you could, but I could also walk out there with 100 or nothing.
Yeah.
You know. And the problem with those bet books and everything is a lot of people follow them. And I never followed the bet books, like the suggested bets on like show place win or anything. And I would just pick the horses. I would read the odds. I would read the stuff. I'd read like what type of track are they running on? What's their history on these types of tracks? You know, are they better on dirt or grass or whatever? And I try to, you know, come up with my own little way to pick them. And I picked one, and I said, "Yeah, I got mine here." And I showed my dad. He was with me. He goes, "That's exactly what I just bet on." And I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah, because that's what the book told me to bet on." I'm like, "God dang it!" Because I accidentally hit exactly what the book said. And then I only like I had like a $5 bet on it or something, or $6, or because no, it was, I think the minimum was 10. I had like $10 on it or something, because I could do $2 per horse, and then when you box them, no, it was 18. So I had like $18 on it, because when you box them, they can come in any order, you know, type thing. And all I got was like $15 off of a $20 bet, you know.
Yeah, one weekend, one Saturday, my uncle invited me down to Hollywood Park. And I thought we were just going to go down for the races. We'd never done that before, but, you know, stranger things have happened. Anyway, so I get down there, and he's got a whole bunch of people he's with. And he says, "Meet your Aunt June." And I never knew I had an Aunt June, and I was like 30. Anyway, he said she owns that horse right there that's going to be running in the next race.
Cool.
So that was cool. I got horse racing in my family.
Did you feel obligated to bet on that?
I did, and it lost.
Yeah, I know.
Big time.
See, that's the problem when you have, hey, I know who owns that horse over there. Well, we got buffer issues. I don't know if y'all can still hear us. Okay, we're back. We buffered out there for a second.
Yeah. Why?
And I'm hooked up through the hardwire too.
Oh, maybe it's rain.
Maybe
the rain's causing some.
I don't know. It shouldn't.
Havoc.
I went and played disc golf this morning. And now my allergies are like firing up. And I took a pill earlier, but
I couldn't believe it. My allergies, like the last couple of years, just went crazy. But then I heard the pollen count was up to like 90 or something.
Oh, my
and
car.
I don't feel a thing.
My car, I went out there. You know, my car's blue.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't this morning. It was green. And it was yellowish green. And I was like, good Lord, I need to wash this thing. And then I just drove through the rain, and it knocked most of it off.
There you go.
So it's blue again. But no, I'm not. My sinuses are what's kicking me. And but I'm going to go play disc golf again tomorrow. So we'll see. Let's make it worse.
Make it work. That's right.
All right. Now, I didn't hear about tonight. Did you already dose? No, you hadn't dosed the dog yet. The meds for the dog.
Oh, no. I got to give the meds to the dog.
All right.
But are we going to do an after party?
Yeah, I've already got it scheduled.
But I'll be back. I'm not going to stay at home. I'll be back.
All right. And then we can crack those beer.
Oh, yeah. Crack away. I've been dying to taste one of those.
Yeah, I've been saving them. I've just been reaching around them in there. Every time you come over, you bring 2 beer, even on the nights where you can't drink, and they sit there, you know. And then you brought 2, and then we didn't get to them. Then you brought 2 more, and now you brought 2 more, and now we've got like 6 or 8 beer in there. We need,
and I'll do it under one condition: that when I stagger and fall on home, you won't take a camera after me.
No, I'm not. It's raining out there. I'm not going to walk in the rain. No, and I'm not going to be up. I mean, I'm thinking maybe 10:30, but we'll start the after party about between 7 and 7:15, and then Sam said she was going to jump up. So help keep us straight because she got co-host abilities. So she asked me if I needed her for this, and I said no. And she said good, because she needed an hour to go walk the dog and all that. So she should jump back up then. So, RB, do you like sitting and watching the storms blow through? Oh.
Watching the storms blow through with the cigar.
Or just a good, decent bourbon. Oh, we are drinking Pinhook. This is the Bohemian bourbon, and it is 95 proof. And then we're drinking also the Michter's US1 small batch, which is 91.4 proof. But you can see the color difference in how light the Pinhook is and how much darker the Michter's comes through. And the Pinhook has a little less oil in it than the Michter's, but it's still a Kentucky straight bourbon. So it's been aged at least 2 years, and it gives off a lot of fresh fruit notes, whereas the Michter's gives off a lot of the like molassesy roasted fruit notes. Yeah, that US1 is really good. And I always say to people, if they can't find Eagle Rare, now they don't taste exactly the same. They don't. But they are in the same ballpark with each other. They're comparable, yes.
Oh, yeah, we're comparable, right.
But the Michter's US1 is typically easier to find, depending on where you are. And they're watching a movie, so if you hear some rumbling in the background, they like to crank it in the living room.
That's okay.
Got the sound bar going. And that sound bar, and we have a mudroom buffer between us and that, where the wall is, where that sound bar is. The fireplace is right there, and then the mudroom, and then that big closet. But it echoes through that door, and you can hear that door boom, boom, boom every once in a while. That's got some bass to it. Pinhook 5-year, never tried the Bohemian. Yeah, and I have 2 of them. The Bohemian was from 2020, and then the what's the other one called? They named it different every year, but it's their base. It was Bourbon Heist was 2021, I think. Make sure that's the right year. Yeah, 2021. They call it was Bourbon Heist. And in 2020, it was Bohemian bourbon. So it's like they just name it something different every time, but it's the same color. It's just a little different design on it. Yeah, really warm and humid there. Yep. It was cooler here.
Yeah, it's not hot. Yeah, it's not cold. It's not really hot. It's just
no, it's 68-ish.
Yeah.
It's somewhere along in there here. And I tried to get out and mow the yard earlier, and I backed that big old John Deere out, and I was running up and down the road. I got the road mowed, and in between our houses, and I mowed half the front yard, and then the rain started, so I had to go park it. Oh yeah, the Knob Creek Reserve 120 proof. Got a bottle of it right over there. Somewhere. It's down there. So he's drinking a mint julep, but I don't know. That's the
I know, I'm just kidding.
9-year, but I don't have any fresh mint. But I do have a sour mix.
We got to do that again.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I make a really, 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 really mean old fashioned, but I don't follow like a typical recipe. I made them for Dad and Blake when they were here. And what I do is, instead of Angostura bitters, I use Hella bitters, the orange flavor. And I put a little bit, like a quarter shot, whatever, a third of a shot or whatever, third of an ounce or whatever of simple syrup. And then I put 2 maraschino cherries in. I don't muddle them. And then I just dash the juice from the maraschino cherry in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I shake about 4 dashes of the Hello orange bitters in there. And that gives you your muddled orange peel flavor in it. And then just ice 2 ounces of bourbon and stir. And sometimes I'll make it a little heavier, maybe 3 ounces of bourbon in there because I like the flavor of the bourbon more than I like all that other crap in it. But just for camaraderie, hanging out with them, I made us some. And we were actually drinking those when we did our Thursday music stream thing.
That was good.
I didn't drink them all night on that. I just had 2, and then we went to beer or something.
Oh, I thought you drank them all night, and that's why you were singing so good.
Well, I wouldn't be singing that good. I'd be like, I can't remember the words. I was like, yeah, you triple shot. And I drink them way too fast. And that's why one main reason I don't like drinking bourbon, even on the rocks, because I'll drink it like water. And in an hour, so you may never see that gin that's made by Crowded Barrel Distillery. Now, that's Apology gin. Is that the gin? I forget what they're made with or whatever. There's a okay, let's see here. I got to check this right quick. Send me a photo. Oh, look at that. Hang on. Look at you. Sam got her a guitar. Now she just has to learn how to play it. But she knows how to chord. She's got finger dexterity, with that uke. I mean, she'll be able to. There's just more fingers on it.
Muscle.
All right, let me let her know. Give us about caps lock. I'm trying to type crooked. About 10 more minutes. We will go to the after party link. Yeah, we'll end this a little early. We've got we're competing tonight with Kentucky Derby.
Yeah.
So, but now I was going to say about the gin Rabbit Hole. When we were at Rabbit Hole Distillery, they have a gin. Now they get it from Europe, and they barrel it for just a little tiny bit, and they do their stuff to it. But it is a sweet gin. It's not that floral, like aftershave stuff. This is a nice gin, and I really liked it. And I almost bought a bottle of it, and I thought, I'll wait. No, I bet I can find it. Can't find it.
Can't find it. Surprise.
I'm barely going to be in Kentucky at the end of the month, but I will look and see what they have there. Hey, Samantha. How's it going?
Hey, Samantha.
Floral aftershave is a great description. Yeah. And I can't ever remember. There's 2 styles of gin, and one of them is made with something, and I forget what it is, and that's the florally one. But there's a different type of gin you can get that's a hell of a lot better. But I'd rather have bourbon.
Of course.
But I do like a good rye every once in a while. Oh, and the other thing, let's see. Oh, yeah. The other thing is when I was making those, full disclosure, when I was making those, the best old fashions ever, I didn't use bourbon in them. I used Tawaka Road straight rye. And RB, you can get this. This is Grapevine, Texas, right here. The HAT, Tawaka Road. And this is their, it's 105 proof. and it's Texas rye malt whiskey. So this is really, 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 really good in an old fashioned, and that's what I have this bottle for. Now, I did pay $90 for this bottle, but because it's a boutique crafted stuff, but it's worth it, to get a bottle and just to experience it. It makes a really mean old fashioned.
Yeah, Fulton.
Yeah, it's a little high. I think it might have been like $85 to $90 I paid for that bottle.
Yeah, I got to tell you, man, I'm one of the people that say pineapple does not belong on a pizza.
Yeah, we've had Hawaiian pizza. There was a place in of all places, Knob Noster, Missouri. There was this little old club out by that's where Whiteman Air Force Base is, and the only reason that bar exists, it's a big barn with a bar in it, and it's a pizza place, and you can get other bar food and all that, but they have these pizza ovens back there, and they make these huge pizzas, And we would go in there. The only reason it exists because of military bases there, and it's real close. It's like 4 miles off base, Otherwise, you have to drive all the way over to the other city, and it's like 10, 12 miles over, And we would go down there. And Jay, little Jay, comes on here. He liked the Hawaiian pizza, but he would say, because what they would do is they would put ham and pineapple and fresh jalapeno slices, and then bake it, and then the jalapenos get the little dark char ring on them. I didn't like it, but he loved it, and he said, put extra jalapenos on it. And they said, well, do you want to, because we cut the jalapenos up, you get 2 jalapenos, because they would be fresh, jalapenos, and they would make the slices, and 1 jalapeno would do half of a pizza. And they said, we can put extra jalapeno on there, but you'll have to pay for an additional topping, because these are expensive and they don't last. They're hard to keep, so we have to, because they're fresh. They're not going to last forever. So he's like, yeah, I'll pay for it. And so they'd charge him $1.50 or something for 2 more jalapenos or something. And then he got to getting 6 jalapenos on that thing.
Holy cow.
And it would just come out, and they're like, we don't have room on the pizza. And he's like, well, leave that freaking pineapple off then. So he would because the ham didn't take up any room. It was all flat, and they would just spread it around over the bottom cheese and then load that thing down with jalapenos and then put the top cheese over it and bake it. And that was his pizza of choice.
That sounds like it tastes awesome. Yes.
What it tastes like is you need a whole bunch of Bud Light to chase it with, if that's what you're drinking.
Bud Light and vanilla ice cream.
Yeah, he just sat there and we were just hammer. And of course, they had stuff on tap, there in the bar, and we would order pitchers. And they had the pitchers with the little slot in the front of the pitcher that they would fill with ice to keep the pitcher cold.
Mm-hmm.
And it had a little lid on it, or it's about the handle or whatever. And they would snap the lid down over the ice. So when you pour it, you don't get water coming over, ice and stuff in your beer. And they would have that thing chilled and have that ice in it. And we would just grab the pitcher and just be drinking out of the pitcher because we were heathens. That's the way it went. But it is 6:54 right now. Here in about 5 minutes, we are going to close this thing down, and we are going to crank up the after party stream. And Sam has the link to that, so she can come up and help keep us straight, because we have a tendency to run off the rails.
We do, yeah.
But you are going to go feed.
And my favorite pizza.
Or not feed, but medicate.
I got it. Medicate, yeah. I got in New Mexico. And New Mexico has some great peppers that they grow right there, and they don't grow them anywhere else. And man, that pizza was good.
Talk about Hatch chili?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know Texas is big on the Hatch. And they'll get them from New Mexico at Central Market. Oh, I had a froggy. That's these allergies. They're kicking my ass. And we would go and they would do the Hatch Chili Festival, and it was like festival time and all the Hatch chilies, and we would go and get them, and you could get mild, medium, or hot. And I said, well, I'm going to get it. Because at Central Market, you can just put some in a bag and weigh it and then put the sticker on it. You know, you can get however many you want. I got 5 big old hot Hatch chilies. And then I got a couple of mediums, or a few, like 5 mediums. And then we get a whole bunch of the milds, because we would roast them in the oven and stuff, you know, and then put them in the zip of the seal bags, you know, and all that, all chopped down and save them for later, you know, use them throughout the year. And she had recipes, Rachel did, that she would use those, you know, already. Man, I'm having a hard time here.
Yeah, I hope my wife's not watching, but I went to New Mexico for like about 3 weeks, and I would call her at night, say hello and good night and all that kind of stuff. She says, well, where are you going tonight? And I said, well, I'm going to the library. And that was the truth.
It was a bar called the library.
There was a bar called the library, and they had the best freaking hamburgers with those peppers on them.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Oh God, they were delicious.
Hatch chilies.
Yeah, gained a few pounds there.
Man, I love the Hatch chilies. I mean, basically they're poblano peppers, but they don't taste the same. You know, they're better. Oh, but the story I was going to tell about those hot ones, I accidentally got one mixed in with the others, and I didn't know which one was which because they all look green.
Yeah.
And I think one of them ended up getting roasted, and we knew it though, because when you opened the oven door, because we had them in there, you know, roasting it in the oven, right on the rack. And when that door opened, our eyes just went cry, because, and then I had to taste each one of them to see which one was the hot one.
Oh wow!
And it was about the third one I took a little piece off of, and it wasn't as hot as. And back then, though, I was collecting hot sauces and eating. I didn't know I was allergic to it, you know. But it was pretty hot, but it wasn't ghost pepper hot or anything.
Oh yeah, oh no, not even close.
No,
yeah.
It wasn't even. I don't even think it was habanero hot. I mean, it was about like habanero hot. Yeah, about like that.
Yeah, there's a restaurant down there that makes pepper pizzas. So they put both the red peppers and the green peppers on a pizza.
Most of the time,
delish.
That's usually bell peppers, though.
No, these were New Mexico peppers.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we're running up on 6:58 here. Any last words?
Hey, everybody, have a great weekend and try not to get too wet, and don't drink and drive. And that's it for me.
Okay. And we're going to wrap this up. And here at 7 o'clock, I'm going to crank up the after party. And Joe, you're going to medicate your dog, and then you'll be back.
I'm going to medicate the dog, yeah.
And we will have fun. So thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you hopefully in the after party.
See you later.